Go.
There's always room for improvement. There's a lot of there's calls that you go back and say, like, I should have done this or should have done that, or we could have prepped this better, or could have gone over this situation better with the guys. So that's always a work in progress. It was that way in Baltimore. It was that way in Georgia. That's my philosophy. It's just, you got to look at yourself too. Make sure you can keep putting the guys in the best situation possible. But it's feels like practice. Just you're out there and identifying the situation, and for the most part, we've talked about the situations that arise, and we really just stick to the plan. So it helps when you communicate with the guys what you're going to call in certain situations, because then they're anticipating you calling that. So it's almost like if you don't call it now, you're doing them a disservice. So it's nice to have figured it out before the situation actually comes up. Sure, absolutely. I mean, it's this way at every level, but they're playing what we've seen on tape. So you have to understand how we've been playing and the things that they're seeing and the mistakes that we've made, and to try to really have a great grasp of how they're going to attack you. 2 games is not a great sample size. Same thing with Northern Illinois. I mean, they're operating differently on a game-to-game basis than they did last year or even the year before that. So. A lot of it's going to be identifying how the team's playing in during the game, and then I think we have enough kind of in our tool bag, so to speak, where we can adjust on the fly. But we definitely need to be aware of that. Yeah. Don't get in his way. Don't just try to not to. Just when you have great players, you try to put them in positions to succeed, and the expectation is that he plays to the level that he's playing at, and we'll have wrinkles. And we want to move them around, but we don't want to, we don't want to overthink it either, So we don't want to get in the way of that. But Aidan's doing a great job, and I think that's when you want to look at how you play football for Michigan. That he's the first guy you look at. Shoot, I think there's a lot of guys that we feed off the energy. I mean, first of all, they're feed off the energy of the crowd. I mean, I've never seen anything like that. That was crazy. I mean, that was just an unbelievable atmosphere, and. So shout out to our fans. I mean, that was incredible. But the rest of the guys on the defense, I think we got a lot of guys that bring a lot of energy, and they can, it's more collective than just Aidan. But I mean, one thing we preach is look, it's not easy to go out there and make plays. When you go make plays, go celebrate with your teammates, go get a picture on the sideline, have fun, man. We work too hard at this to just make a play and just be all bummed out about it. Have some fun. Running out of the tunnel, you always take a deep breath and think about it. That's a lot of people, They're pretty loud too. But the first part of the game was awesome. That was unheard of. That was great. So, that was special. It's really easy to play great defense when you're not out there. So 300-yard rushing games we'll take every single time. Great job by our offense. There was never any panic to start the game. We knew what was about to happen. It was just a matter of time, and we have all the confidence in the world with them. They played a great game and controlled the clock, and it was a great complementary team win. Not to sound too cliche, but the special teams played great. We stopped them when we needed to early on. We'd like to finish the game a little bit better, but offense really controlled the clock, and our guys were fresh when we had to go out there. And I think that helps you play hard when you're not gassed all the time. Well, that gives them a role in third down, so now you can keep the same people out there and present different looks. But I give a shout out to Coach Hilo on that one. He does a great job coaching those guys up on how to blitz with speed and intensity. Pace is a big point of emphasis with him, and Josh has a great knack for it. Shoot, he coaches me up on some of the moves that he does and different things different than I've taught the guys that I've worked with in the past, and it's probably a little bit better, to be quite frank. So credit goes to him and Coach Hilo on that one. I don't think so. I mean, it's funny, after the first game, the captain said 50% of our defense hadn't played in front of fans before. That was kind of wild, So there's a big jump on a lot of those guys from week 1 to week 2. So I'm proud of how they responded. You know, it's not easy to go out there and play in front of all those people after you just do it in front of the practice the whole time. So kudos to them.